Hey, it's Ben with Jumbo Jetpack, an ActiveCampaign partner agency, and today we're going to be taking a look at the basics of ActiveCampaign. Whether you're an email marketing pro or a total beginner, this video is going to be full of useful information. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video because I will be sharing one bonus tip to take your ActiveCampaign automations to the next level. The first thing I'll mention is that if you already have an ActiveCampaign account, you can head to jumbojetpack.com/free to get our premium membership for free. More on that at the end of the video. Now, when you sign into your account for the first time, it may take you to this automations page or the dashboard, but where you really want to be is this getting started page. If you set up your account through Jumbo Jetpack, you'll notice that we already created your first list for you. So the first thing that you will have to do is provide your mailing address. This is required by law before you're able to start sending emails, so you'll just want to get it out of the way now. And that's actually the only thing we'll worry about in this getting started list for now. Let's skip down and take a look at automations, since they really are the core of ActiveCampaign. If you set up your account through Jumbo Jetpack, even if it's a free trial, you'll notice that we've already set up our core automations and core demos in your ActiveCampaign account for you. And in your Nitro onboarding materials, we walk through all of these in detail, but we'll scroll down to a simple one for now, this demo welcome series, just to get an idea of how automations work in ActiveCampaign. In simple terms, an automation is a sequence of events or actions. You'll see here that the first event is that the contact subscribes to your list. Then they flow down this path, and we immediately send them a welcome email. We'll dig into the email editor later, but the content of this email is pretty much just, hey, thanks for joining our list. Here's the kind of information you can expect from us going forward. Then you'll see they enter this wait step, and they wait here for one day before getting their second email, which in this case just sends them a free resource like one of your lead magnets. We'll talk about lead magnets in a future video. Then you see they wait for one more day, and then they get their third email, asking them to follow you on social media before ending this automation. It's very simple. If you want to add a new action to your automation, you can click on any of these plus buttons to add the action at that position, such as another email, a wait step, or an if-else step, which we'll cover in another video, as well as edits to the contact itself, such as subscribing them or unsubscribing them from a list, or adding or removing tags. You can also add actions by dragging and dropping them in place from this sidebar. One important note is that automations typically contain emails, but not always. Sometimes you'll just use them to do things behind the scenes to automate aspects of your business. Now, if we scroll back up, this event at the top is known as the trigger, the thing that a particular contact can do to have this automation start automatically. Again, this automation starts when a contact subscribes to any list, but if we click in here, you'll see it only runs once. So if they subscribe to multiple lists, they won't get the same welcome email multiple times. As you can guess by this button, an automation can have multiple triggers. Popular ones, which you'll see in other automations, are submits a form and tag is added. We'll quickly go over forms and tags later, and then in more detail in separate videos. We'll back out of here for now, back to automations, and then click Create an Automation. And you'll see if you scroll down that there are a ton of pre-built automations that you can set up and then modify for your own business. You can search for something particular up here, for instance if you're planning on running a webinar, or you can click on Industry here in the sidebar and find automations popular for your particular business. And if we go back to All Recipes, you'll see we can click here at the top to create your own automation from scratch. We'll walk through automations in more detail as well as creating your own from scratch in separate videos. Though be sure to stick around to the end of this video for that bonus automation tip. The next thing we'll take a look at are lists, contacts, and tags. If we click on the Lists tab, you'll see that we created one for you if you signed up for ActiveCampaign through Jumbo Jetpack. If you did, you'll want to click this drop down and then edit the list to update the list URL and description. This is to remind your contacts how they got on this list, the URL they signed up on, and what kind of information they signed up for. The only other thing you'll really do here is create a new list. Some people like to create multiple lists for segmentation purposes. For instance, if you're a real estate agent, you might create one list for people looking to sell their house and one for people looking to buy a house. Other people prefer to just have one list and do all their segmentation with tags. We'll cover that in a bit. If you click on the name of the list, it will take you to the Contacts tab and pre-select the list you clicked on in the list dropdown so that you'll only see the people who are in this particular list. You can also filter by tag and status, such as active and unsubscribed. You'll notice that right now there aren't any contacts. You can import a list of contacts if you already have them, or you can add a single one by clicking Add a Contact. The only required field is email, so for now we'll just enter support@jumbojetpack.com and click Add. Then we'll add them to our main list and click Apply. You may have to refresh to see the new contact. If we click into it and then scroll down, you'll see that we can add tags to this contact. To keep the example from earlier, we could add the tag home seller or home buyer to indicate what kind of lead they are. As I mentioned earlier, tags and lists are the main criteria we'll use for segmentation. We'll go into segmentation a bit more later in this video, but if you're interested in more advanced segmentation techniques, we'll come out with a separate video soon. The thing you're probably wondering now is how new contacts can subscribe to your lists themselves. You can, of course, connect ActiveCampaign to your existing third-party forms if you already have them, but the simplest solution is to use ActiveCampaign ActiveCampaign's forms. If we click on Site and then Forms, we can click this button to create our first form. I'll just name it Test Form, leave this action to subscribe them to our main list when the form is submitted, and then click Create. If you look at the sidebar here under Standard Form Fields, you'll see all the different things you can drag and drop into your form. If you want to ask a question not listed here, you can add a custom field, but we'll cover that in a separate video. For now, let's just add the CAPTCHA and then move to Style. This is all pretty self-explanatory, so I recommend just tinkering around with it, but here at the bottom you'll notice the option to disable the ActiveCampaign branding. Finally, in the Options tab, you'll see you can specify what your new contact sees when they submit the form. Then if we scroll down a bit, you'll see the actions we saw when we first created the form. Again, if you were a real estate agent, you could select your home buyer or seller list here, or add another action and add the home buyer or seller tag. We'll cover this advanced section in our in-depth forms video. Now that we're done, we can click Integrate. You can use this embed code on your website, or if you're using WordPress, I recommend the ActiveCampaign WordPress plugin. You could also link someone directly to the form, or if you have a Facebook page, you can follow these steps to add it here. Finally, we'll save and exit out of this form and move on to our last feature of the video, campaigns. Campaigns are the bread and butter of ActiveCampaign, as the name suggests. If you want to send a one-time email to your contacts, you'll do it as a campaign rather than an automation. We click this button to create our first campaign, and we'll start by naming it something descriptive. Again, let's pretend we're a real estate agent and we're sending out a list of new homes that just came on the market to our list of buyers. Maybe we'll name this campaign Buyers New Homes for 28-2020. This will make it really easy to tell what's in the email at a glance and to search for this email in the future if we want to reuse it or see how it performed. We'll leave the campaign type as standard for now. We can cover some of these other campaign types in a separate video, and we'll click Next. Then we'll select our list. We can pretend this is just a list of home buyers and go through more advanced segmentation in a separate video, and then click Next again. Now on the templates page, we can start from scratch. We'll cover how to create your own template in a separate video, or we can search for an existing template. Let's type real estate up here. We can preview it. And this actually looks like a perfect one, so I'll click Use this template. You want to obviously swap these fields for your information, and then in the subject, we'll say something like, beautiful new 4-bedroom house just came on the market, and then we'll click Continue. The editor is pretty intuitive to use. You can click the image, and then click here to swap it out with something else. Click and edit any of the text. And you'll see in the sidebar, each of these elements has options that you can edit as well. We'll cover all the tools in the campaign editor in a separate video. So for now, we'll pretend like we swapped out everything already, and then just click Next again. If you scroll down, you'll see we can schedule this email to be sent out in the future, or if we uncheck it again, we can send it right away. And that's it for this video. Again, if you already have an ActiveCampaign account, you can get Jumbo Jetpack's premium membership for free, which unlocks our entire ActiveCampaign tutorial course, our premium support that you can reach out to anytime, and our growing collection of pre-built core automations and core demos, with videos explaining not just how to set each of them up, but also how you can customize them to fit your business's particular needs. So if you already have an ActiveCampaign account and you want to get free access to everything I just mentioned, head to jumbojetpack.com/free to learn more. The link is down below. One thing that I know a lot of people who are new to ActiveCampaign miss is the vast library of pre-made automations. We looked at ActiveCampaign's pre-made automations already, but this library is full of advanced automations that were made by agencies like Jumbo Jetpack to help you get up and running as quickly as possible. It's phenomenally valuable, so I'll link to this resource for you in the description. That's it for today. See ya.